Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to talk about the life and the martyrdom of Saint Paul the Apostle in my brand new video. Subscribe to this channel to see more content below, to see more videos and new content below, and click the like button and the bell icon as well. Check out the 3 videos I have previously done. First of all, Saint Barnabas. Secondly, Saint Stephen. Last but not least, Saint Peter the Apostle. All 3 of them in the description box below and description link below. Paul was born in a place called Tarsus in Cilicia around 4 AD. He studied to be a Pharisee under Gamaliel, the most famous teacher of that time. Indeed, he did become a very zealous Pharisee, even to the point of being fanatical. He was one of those who approved the stoning of Stephen to death for being a Christian. Saint Stephen to death for being a Christian. When the persecution of the Christians started in Jerusalem, Saul dragged the Christians out of their houses and put them in prison. He even got written permission from the high priest to arrest Christians who have fled to other places. But Jesus had other plans for him. One day, when Saul was on his way to Damascus to arrest more Christians, a bright light flashed from the sky. Saul fell to the ground and heard a voice, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" Saul was shocked. He replied, "Who are you, Lord?" The voice replied, "I am Jesus whom you are persecuting. Go to the city and you will be told what you have to do." Saul got up from the ground, but when he opened his eyes, he could see nothing. He had become blind. The men traveling with Saul stood there speechless. They heard the sound but did not see anyone. The men then led him by the hand to Damascus. In the meanwhile, Jesus appeared to a Christian named Ananias and instructed him to meet Saul and pray over him, so that Saul would regain his sight. Ananias was frightened to do so because he knew that Saul had come to Damascus to arrest Christians, but Jesus reassured Ananias that he had chosen Saul to be his instrument to spread his name among Jews and Gentiles. Jews called people of other faiths as Gentiles. Ananias obeyed. He went to meet Saul and prayed over him. While Ananias was praying, something like fish scales fell from Saul's eyes, and he was able to see again. Saul then asked Ananias to baptize him, and he became a Christian. After this, Saul came to be known as Paul. Paul started preaching that Jesus is the Son of God right away. The Christians at first were afraid of him, thinking it was a trap. But when they came to know about how he met Jesus, they believed him. The Jews got very angry with Paul. They plotted to kill him and waited for him. They plotted to kill him and waited for him at the city gate. But having come to know of the plot, the Christians lowered Paul in a basket over the wall, and Paul escaped from the Jews in Damascus. The disciples in Jerusalem too were suspicious of Paul, but when Barnabas explained to them about how Paul met Jesus on the way to Damascus, they included him in their group. From then on, Paul went from place to place preaching about Jesus. On account of this, Paul was arrested and beaten many times, but he did not give up. He went through a lot of hardships and was shipwrecked many times. but he was always saved by Jesus. In Lystra, he healed a cripple in the name of Jesus, and even drove away devils from those who were possessed. Many people became Christians, both Jews and Gentiles. One day, Paul and his friend Silas were arrested and put in jail. There was a severe earthquake. The walls of the jail shook and the gates were thrown open. Instead of running away, Paul and Silas gathered all the prisoners and sang praises to God. The jailer, thinking that the prisoners had escaped, decided to kill himself. Then he heard Paul's voice telling him not to harm himself and that all were there singing God's praises. The jailer was surprised. Immediately he believed in Jesus and asked Paul to baptize him and his entire family. Paul continued to preach about Jesus fearlessly. One day, while he was praying in Jerusalem, they arrested him. He was sent to Rome to be judged there. He was released after 2 years, but was rearrested during the persecution of Nero. He was beheaded in 67 AD. Tradition says that when he was beheaded, his head sprung three times, and there gushed 3 springs of water. What's this? Saint Paul is the patron saint of missionaries, evangelists, writers, journalists, authors, public workers, rope and saddle makers, and tent makers. He has written 14 letters in the New Testament. Alongside Saint Peter the Apostle, their feast day is June 29th.